There's a lot of people here. This is a place called Blue Hole Falls. I'm going to go down this trail and to the left. It'll take us down to the falls. And the reason you're hearing a lot of people, and there's a lot of people here, is because they're probably swimming in the Blue Hole. So apparently there's a youth group, as well as other people that are enjoying the falls and enjoying the little swimming hole. I've never seen it this crowded. Usually when I come here and it's the summertime, there might be, 3, 4, 5 cars up there. There might be maybe a handful of people swimming in the hole. I've not swam in this hole before. I've been here many times, but I've not taken the chance to go swimming in it. I was just passing somebody coming up this trail, and they said there's about 40 or 50 kids swimming in this hole. So yeah, there's two. Looks like there's 2 church buses, or vans rather, that brought some people here. I don't blame them. It's a beautiful spot. I love coming here. See all these roots. They can act as a way to keep traction on the trail, but they can also be very hazardous. So you got to watch out. That's a lot of people. Holy cow. So obviously I'm not going to go swimming, but there's trails that lead on top to where that cliff is at. I might walk up there a little bit later. Let's walk down here. So that's the Blue Hole. And when there's not people in there, when the sun hits it just right, it does look kind of bluish. I'm going to walk down here very carefully. I might wade my feet in the water. The water is quite hilly, not too bad. When I get closer to this waterfall. Crystal clear. About shin deep right now. Just about knee deep, almost. So it's about knee deep right in here, or a little above knee deep. See if I can safely. I'm wearing these sandal shoes here. See if I can safely climb here without slipping. There's some water trickling there as well. It's pretty cool. Looks like the youth group is leaving now. I'd be tempted to slide right down that, but it hurt a little bit. It would hurt a little bit. God, I want to dip in there so bad. I mean, getting in that is good enough, really. Up there's where I was. And that falls right here. I tell you what, my friends, you have not gone swimming until you swam in the Blue Hole, or any mountain stream with a deep hole that's cold. On a hot day like this, it's not even that hot, not where I'm at. We've got a little bit overcast, and we're in the mountains, so the temperature's significantly lower, and that water is cold. And yes, I did jump all the way in, and it's deep. So, very popular spot, kind of out of the way. You know, a lot of locals know about it. People who look out for trails and attractions and whatnot are able to seek it out. So it's not like a hidden secret, but I will consider it a hidden gem. Just a beautiful waterfall, popular place to visit, great trails, and it's right outside Elizabethton, Tennessee, outside a place called Shady Valley. So if any of you fancy a trip down this way, or up this way, or over here, wherever you may be from, check it out. I'm going to walk this trail a little bit and see what's down here. There should be another waterfall down here, I believe. And I will tell you, this is definitely, you know, a white activity. Now, as I was taking some of my belongings back up to my truck and kind of drying off the best I could because I'm not wearing swim trunks, I noticed that there was a mixed family. Well, mixed. A white woman with a black guy and a black kid. And, or two black kids anyway. And all the people that were at this swimming hole, probably about 50 plus, that have come and gone since I've been here in the last 30 minutes. That's the only black person I've seen. And you know, they're going to be like, oh shit, this is cold. This is some cold water. This is definitely some white people shit. Yes, it certainly is. And let me tell you something. The kids are more resilient than the adults, you know, with getting into that cold water. I mean, it's a shocker. I mean, it's a shock to your system. Because, you know, we're tucked away in the woods here, in the mountains. Not a lot of sunlight comes through here, so it doesn't get the radiated heat as it does down below in the valleys and whatnot. So the water is going to maintain a much cooler temperature. And when you put your feet in, it's chilly. You're like, okay. But once you get your whole body in there, holy crap, what a shock it is to your system. This trail here leads up on that ridge, and it actually goes that way. One time, a friend of mine, he and I were hiking it, and I swear, we heard wolves. We heard wolves howling. Now, is that a snake or a stick? That's a stick. I mean, there are, or there used to be years ago, wolves in the area. They are native to this part. You also have coyote, fox, and I think west of us in near Middle Tennessee, you will encounter mountain lion, bobcat. The big worry out this way, in this area here, would probably be black bear, unless we find ourselves a Sasquatch. But, you know, not much to worry about, not even when it comes to snakes. I mean, they'll leave you alone. Rattlesnake will give you a warning ahead of time. Copperheads are going to slither away before they strike you, so you don't really have a whole lot. I'm not going to chance that. That's all wobbly, and I don't want to twist my ankle on these damn rocks. But you don't really have a lot of dangers. Honestly, the most dangerous thing out here on any of these trails would probably be some crackhead or meth head, or if you're accidentally trespassing on somebody's property and they feel inclined to shoot you. Other than that, I mean, that's a rarity. So really, hiking these trails, even going off trail, you're relatively safe. Now with everything, you got to be careful. You know, you don't want to twist an ankle, break a bone. You know, I'm not too far from town, maybe about 10 miles. Just where we park in this little gravel parking lot, just past that, the way you come into here is some houses, a community and whatnot. You drive through a neighborhood to get here. Continuing on, this road takes you up on the Holston Mountain, and on the other side of this Holston Mountain is the Holston Lake and more trails and whatnot. Now what's interesting is in the 70s, I think 76, there was an F4 Phantom doing a test run, and they say it crashed on top of the mountain, and there's a memorial to it with even parts of the wreckage acting as, a place marker. So I've never been there. I've wanted to check it out. Thought it was a pretty neat story. But that's something you can Google and find the story about. So this is just a nice area. This is part of the Cherokee National Forest. And oh, this water is cold. Oh, this water's colder than it is down there. It feels that way. Holy cow. Now this water here, just like the water I was swimming in, and where I showed you that waterfall, the first one, totally drinkable in my opinion. If you're out here in the middle of the woods and you get thirsty, get a drink of water. It's not going to kill you. Looks like people have been here, leaving their trash. Pisses me off. It really does. There's no need for it. Take a damn trash bag with you. Or carry the trash out. My God. Stop giving white people a bad name. We're supposed to be stewards of the earth. Let's start acting like it. One time I came up through here, and I don't know if it was instinct or what, but I guess I got to about this point, and something told me to turn around. Like I felt unsafe, or uneasy, like I wasn't scared, I just felt uneasy. So let's see here if I can make it further back. A little creek creeping, holding my phone with one hand, trying to keep my balance in the other. Slippery rocks, not the best shoes to hike in. They're comfortable and all, but you're dealing with slick rocks, nothing really helps. You got some more little tiny falls there. I want to see what's up there. Hop over this log. And you always want to be careful. Like I was saying, where I'm at now, I've got no cell service. And like my wife doesn't know where I'm at right now. I told her I was going to go fishing. And on my way down the road to go fishing, I just made a detour and came here instead. Figured it's been a while since I've been here. And I wanted to explore a little bit. Oh. So here's a nice little hole. So something like this would be nice to just kind of chill in, sit in, relax, collect your thoughts. I'm wondering what is up that way. This goes deep in. I'm going to start heading back. Yeah, I often wonder when I come into places like these that people know about and they travel to, but they're kind of more or less out of the way. I kind of wonder what people thought when they first encountered this area, whether it be Indians or early settlers or whatnot. you know, what their thoughts were. Every time I come to a place like this, and especially this place here, there is something magical about it, I think. Something mystical. You know, you have waterfalls, you have rocks and canyons, cliffs, caves, holes to swim in. And then to get into the crypto stuff, you know, people say, oh, there's no such thing as Bigfoot. I don't know if there is or isn't. I lean on the side that there probably is, or at least there has been in the past. Maybe they're died off, who knows, but you know, walking through here, yeah, I'm not like far from civilization, I'm not far removed, I'm not out in the middle of nowhere technically, but had you not known this was a popular spot, and had there not been a gravel road leading to this, and you were just dumped right here, I mean, what would you think? You don't think something like Bigfoot would exist in here? So, I think it's quite plausible. And, you know, there have been stories in this area that go back that claim people have seen the thing. And you come into areas like this and you have to wonder, yeah, I mean, it's quite possible that something like that could exist in this environment unseen, you know, undetected, especially if it's evasive, especially if it wants to avoid human contact. I mean, how many animals do we know about, like deer, chipmunk, red fox, coyote, bobcat, black bear, things that live in this area that we know live in this area? And how many of us have really seen those with our own two eyes while walking in the woods? Deer, yeah, that's common. You're going to see deer everywhere, hell, even in city areas. Red fox, I've only seen maybe a handful of times. Black bear, I've only seen maybe once or twice. Chipmunk, I've only seen a handful of times. Coyote, I've seen a handful of times. Bobcat, I've actually not seen a bobcat in the wild. I've seen it in captivity. Not seen a wild wolf in the wild either. Had not seen a cougar in the wild either. Now, does that mean that those things don't exist just because I haven't seen them? No, we know they exist. They are elsewhere. They are in captivity. So, it should be no surprise that some sort of crypto creature could have survived or live that we have not yet officially identified. And that's what I have to remind myself when people bring up, you know, the Bigfoot thing and cryptozoology and whatnot. Are there people out there that are full of crap that cash in on it? Yes, absolutely. Are there people out there that believe they've actually seen something and they're legitimate? Yes. Is there something out there equivalent to a Bigfoot or Sasquatch or wood booger or whatever you want to call it? I believe there's a possibility. I remind myself that these rocks are really slippery. I remind myself that, you know, for the longest time, the reports of a black and white bear that ate bamboo coming out of Southeast Asia was seen as a myth until somebody brought back a live panda. And that wasn't too far ago. That was only in the 1800s. And the armchair skeptics and the so-called scholars and whatnot, they would sit and say, no, it's preposterous. Oh, thank God for that rock. Phew. I'm going to sit for a second. Lost my footing and there was a rock right underneath me. I just sat down. So they would say, oh no, it's preposterous. There's no such thing as a black and white bear that only eats bamboo. Yeah, well, somebody brought back a panda. So, I mean, just because science and the scholastic community and academic community say it's so or not so, doesn't make it true. You know, they get things wrong a lot. It takes people that go out into the deep forests, into the deep woods, where we don't go, by the way. I mean, this is where people go. So if Bigfoot or Sasquatch is in this area, it is remaining elusive. it is intelligent enough, I would presume, to know that people come here. People come here on a daily basis, especially this time of year, to swim in that hole. And as evidenced by that little soda can back there, people go back off trail, back into this creek, and hike off trail into these woods, I'm sure, and in the trails. So this is where people go. And where do people encounter Bigfoot? Where a lot of people don't go. A lot of hunters that go off trail, that go far from civilization by several miles. More than just 10 miles or so. And when I mean far from civilization, I mean several miles from the nearest town. I'm only a quarter mile from where I parked my truck from the nearest house, maybe even less. So we're not far from civilization. Where people encounter the Bigfoots is where they're far away from civilization, meaning any home even. So, and then, think of people who live out in Asia, in Tibet, in the Himalayas, who have long talked about Yeti or abominable snowman, whatever you want to call it. They're the ones that live high up in the mountains where few people dare to tread. And where people go to the woods is primarily where there are trails, whether they be dirt or manicured, campsites that are manicured, that have electricity, many of them. So, people make the argument, well, people go in the woods all the time. We camp, we hunt, we hike. Yes, now listen to what you're saying. All the time. We camp, we hunt, we hike. We go places where we are familiar. We go places where there is comfort. And when we go deep into the woods, we become uncomfortable. Like that time I told you, one time a couple years back, I was hiking back through that trail and I got to a certain point where I felt uncomfortable. I felt uneasy. I don't know why. Something told me to turn around. I don't know if it was danger or just something else, but I turned around and came back. So most people stay where they are close to civilization, close to homes, close to their comfort zones. Oh, look at this. Deer markings. Maybe not. Maybe not, because then we have writing here. So that could have been man-made. But they go where people are at. They stay in their comfort zone. They go where they're familiar. They don't venture off trail or deep in the forests or woods or mountains. And those that do, they're the ones that are saying, hey, I'm seeing this bipedal creature that is not a bear. A lot of people say, people are mistaking it for black bear because black bear will walk upright sometimes. Yeah, sometimes they will, but they don't have long, linky arms. I look at that Patterson video, and I don't see how it's fake. I don't see how it's a hoax. To me, that is a legitimate video. You mean to tell me somebody went through all that damn trouble to make an anatomically correct female bipedal creature suit? It's a female. You can see the breasts sway. And so, okay, hot sunny day like this, in the middle of July, or toward the end of July, pushing August. You mean to tell me on a day like this, if I were to see a Bigfoot, you're going to tell me it's a guy in a monkey costume on a hot, humid day in a subtropical climate? This is technically a subtropical climate. Give me a break. So no, I think these things have the possibility of existing. And people say, well, how come we don't always see them? You see them in one spot, and then people try to look for them, and then they're gone. What if they migrate? What if they migrate? Have you thought about that? What if they migrate in the hot climates to, in the hot seasons to northern climates, and in the cold seasons to southern climates? Has anybody correlated the sightings with the areas and the time and season? That's a possibility. Other animals migrate, why not they? Even us humans migrate. Some people don't like hot weather. Some people go to cooler climates in the summertime and warmer climates in the wintertime because they have that luxury. And even early man migrated that way to stay out of the harsh environments. They knew when wintertime came, they needed a place where they could shelter down easier and procure food easier. They moved south. When the hot weather came, it was just too much. They had to move back up north. So we've done it. Other animals do it. Why can't these bipedal creatures that we call Bigfoot do it? And why can't they survive in an area like this and not be seen? Except for those who go deep in the woods and have a chance encounter. Again, I beg the question, how many animals that you know exist in a forest like this have you physically seen with your own two eyes? And then think of the ones that you haven't seen. And then think of the chance of running into a bipedal creature that you didn't think would exist because the academic community told you different. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. I feel refreshed. That water was cold but rejuvenating. You should try it sometime. Peace out.